All right. Hi, this is Eric Stromquist. Welcome to Control Talk 2.0. We are here with our Johnson Tech Talk version, again, with Johnson Controls. They make great products, have great people. As a matter of fact, Kenny, I'm going to say hi to you real quick before I introduce our guest.
Hi, Beck.
How's it going, my friend? So, as you know, we got Control Trends Awards coming up. Want a special shout-out to Johnson Controls, being the innovative company they are. They came on early. They came on big. They're platinum sponsors again. And I tell you what, Kenny, they usually win pretty big at the Control Trends Awards. And as a matter of fact, our guest on the show today is Chris Lane. Chris won the 2013 Best Technical Support Person of the Year. Chris, welcome to the show, and we're really glad to have you here.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Ken. Yeah, really excited about Control Trends Awards. Was really honored to be a winner this past year, especially in the company of the other nominees, including the co-winner, James Johnson, who actually has provided me with some technical support in the past, so it was pretty neat.
Yeah, James is a really cool guy. He really knows his stuff, and of course, I think you guys have taken that Niagara platform, that Tritium platform, and added on to it to make it really, really special. And I think you got a member of your team here today that really makes Johnson Controls helps make Johnson Controls tick. So will you introduce one of your staff guys here, one of the guys that makes it happen? Tell us a bit about him and what he's going to be talking about today.
Sure. I'm going to bring on here Matt Krieger. He's a product manager that works in my team, and I brought Matt on a couple of years ago. He actually came from our field sales organization, and he, in his previous role, was selling FX products to our ABCS distributors and contractors. And we brought him on because of his field knowledge, and he's really developed into someone that can really demonstrate our products expertly to really show how things work and also what the benefits of some of our features offer to our customers. So I wanted to bring Matt on today and kind of give the audience a glimpse of our Niagara appliance, which is part of the Niagara framework or a component of the Niagara framework that we've exploited to make the configuration of our FX supervisory controllers very easy and efficient to accomplish. So to that end, let's have Matt introduce himself and get going.
Hey, Chris. Thanks very much. Ken, Eric, thanks very much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to a good experience here. And I guess the main thing I thought I'd show you today is the Johnson Controls FX appliance, which we've added on top of the Niagara framework.
Okay, looks like we have a little bit of an audio.
Feeding back pretty bad, yeah. Let's just keep going, though, guys. Chris, I got you muted. Here, I got a control thing. I got you muted. Matt, let's keep you rocking and rolling. And
okay.
It sounds like you're okay now. So to our audience, we apologize about that. Matt, please continue on.
Okay. So what I thought I'd do is try to attempt to share my screen here so that everybody can see the Johnson Controls appliance in action. So hopefully you'll see my screen here shortly. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes, we can. You're looking good.
Great. Well, as everybody knows, this is a shot of the platform of a station. What I'm going to do is start a station as though I've done nothing yet, right? I've got some information about my controllers and maybe worked up some of the application files that go into our end device controllers, like the PCG or PCA or PCV controllers for air handling units and VAV boxes. What I do to start off with is I'd go up to my tools menu, and most of the things that we've added with Johnson Controls appliance, you'll see our little symbols by those. But what I'm going to launch here is the launch project file area. And what that's doing is it's starting a macro in the background that launches my Microsoft Excel. So in order to be able to do this, you have to have Excel on your machine. And what we'll do is allow you to do a quick way to configure a station. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just choosing a spot where I'm going to save this file afterward in case I would like to reuse it for purposes in the future. Let's say I've got a similar job and I've already got a good setup, and that worked for me last time. I can make minimal changes and launch this again. But I don't know if you can see at the bottom of my screen here, it just started my Microsoft Excel. which will give me my starting point. And here you put in just basic information, the name of the project for documentation purposes, address, contact, phone number, so on and so forth. The main part here is that you put in the name of the station. And then I navigate using the tabs at the bottom of the screen and add my network. So let's say I've got to add a BACnet network. What this does is automatically add a BACnet MSTP network. It gives it that name, automatically chooses the port, the correct baud rate, and it's up to you to put in your network number. So that saves the process of going through and going, all right, I'm adding a BACnet network to a station, I'm configuring the COM port, enabling everything, and it does all that stuff automatically for you. You're also allowed to add multiple BACnet ports, or let's just say an N2 port here to support our legacy N2 networks. It automatically increments the port number, automatically puts the right baud rate in there, and in N2 world, network numbers really didn't mean a whole lot, so I'll just put in 1 there. So now I've just created a station with a name and some networks. Now I'm going to add some devices to those networks. So I'll go to my BACnet MSTP network and add some devices. This is the MSTP address, how many of those devices that I have, and then I click and navigate to my resource file. When you create an application with Johnson Controls PCT tool, it ends up in a CAF file, or controller automation file. And what you can do with that is save those guys. So I'm going to go to a spot where I might have some of those CAF files saved and add those to my spreadsheet. So let's see here once, Office, and I'll pick, let's see here once, I'll pick a chiller application file and hit open. So that adds it to my spreadsheet. And then I continually add more of my devices on there. So VAV-1, and that's at address number 11. And I've got 9 more of those. And I'll navigate to the spot where I have my VAV application. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, I chose the wrong one there. Let me go back to that and pick the right CAF file here. Add that guy on there, and I'll hit the duplicate button, and it'll automatically increment the number of devices that I have and automatically increment those. Let's say I also add something like a N2 network here, and I've got some VAV boxes on that one, VAV-17, and I've got 5 of those, N2 address number 5, I've got 5 additional ones of those, and I'll go and navigate to where I have my VAV N2 application on that, and I'll hit duplicate. So I'll add all those devices. So basically what I've done here is added a chiller plant, some VAV boxes. Well, maybe let's go back to my BACnet network and add a AHU. And that's at address number 21. And I'll pick that guy on there and pick that CAF file. So now I've added all the devices that might be on my station, for instance.
Whoa, Matt! I got to tell you, man, that was pretty quick. That's got to be one of the real benefits of this. You guys put a lot of thought into this, huh?
Well, actually, the point being is we thought, there's a certain opportunity for maybe technicians who are less skilled or just learning and know that a thing like a CAF file exists. They can create and configure a station without having to be completely technically apt and get the whole thing going on an installation and startup without having to have so much training on it to get it done. So we're looking for people to do it quicker, or maybe less skilled people to take that up, because I know it's hard to get folks right out of the box spooled up on programming controllers.
I got to tell you, and Kenny, I'll ask you to comment on this too, Matt. Our integrators love it. Like you said, I think one of the benefits of the Johnson product line is that you can get as deep and as complicated as you want to with it, meaning that there's nothing you can't do with it. I mean, so the most sophisticated systems integrator can get access to that, but then I think what you guys do that's really nice, and correct me if I'm wrong, and Kenny, I'd like to hear what your integrators say too, but what my integrators say is it's awesome because, like you say, you can take a guy who maybe isn't quite as sophisticated as the other guys, and he can go quickly. Has that been your experience too, Kenny?
I think we're just seeing the starting point where Matt's just showing us how easy it is. I mean, they've got other features that come on board, like the automatic graphic creation, the new station imports, and there's more to it. Yes, Johnson has really laid it out and made it very user-friendly, and the better a contractor can put these tools to work, obviously the more they're going to sell and the more profitable they're going to be. Keep going, Matt.
Right. So here's what I'm doing now. My next tab that I can fill in is a schedule. If I want to put the default schedule in, it doesn't have to be the final one, but at least it's something you can use to start off with. And I'll pick a enumerated schedule, and I'll just call it my weekly schedule. And I get to pick what kind of units are in my enumeration, so maybe occupied, unoccupied, bypass, and standby are my standards. And I can add some times. And you can get as complicated as you want with this one, but just let's say Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm going to be occupied. And I'll add that schedule time. So that'll configure my schedule. And I'll hit save. My last tab, if I choose to use it as groups, let's say you wanted to put all VAV box flows into one folder. So I can go VAV flows, and then the point type is SA-F. All of our controllers, when you do a VAV controller, that's the point name for that. So this bucket will be created as a folder titled VAV flow, and it'll have the flow set points, or the flow CFM for each one of those boxes. Maybe I want to put together zone temps perhaps too. Zone temp, and those are all ZN-T types. So now I've basically done at this point, and as you can see, I go back to my project info tab at the bottom. I've added 2 networks, I've added 18 devices, I put in 1 schedule, and I've got 2 groups. At this point, I'm ready to go. I can just say build station. And when I build station, what it's starting in the background is a macro translating from your Microsoft Excel program, communicating with FX Workbench. And what it's going to do is be able to create that station right here after I put in my platform connection, and then give it an admin password. And okay, so it's connecting up to my platform. It's creating that station in the background, adding all of those 18 devices, pulling in a subset of all the points for those devices, adding automatic trending, scheduling, alarming, totalizations, building a graphic for a computer view, as well as building a graphic for handheld views, creating those point groups, and so you're off and running. So let's go back to my my platform view. As you can see, I've added the control trends is on there. Right now this guy is idle, but in a couple seconds it'll start up that station and configure everything, and you'll see it cruising across the screen here where all of the devices are added. So the point being is that instead of having to do this manually, adding devices at one at a time, instead of having to create individual graphics for each one of them, instead of have to go to one device, adding all those the point extensions, they're all added automatically for you. And as you can see kind of on the bottom here, it's starting up all those devices. And in a second, that station will be running, and we'll connect to it and see what we have at the end of the day.
Awesome stuff. Very, very cool. I got to tell you something, Chris. You might want to stop Matt now, because this is looking so easy that people might not appreciate what a great technical guy you are. Your title might be in jeopardy, man, because this is looking pretty sweet.
Yep. And so
yeah, I think that's one of my goals next year is to have either Matt or Greg be nominated for Technical Support of the Year. I'm really proud of my staff.
Yeah. So.
And cool, Matt. That's you're showing us all the advantages on the configuration side. Then there's going to be a whole host of advantages to see on the operator side as well.
Right. Exactly. So basically, what we have here now, that station is running. I'll just connect up to that station and run it, and my station will start on my PC right here. I look in my configuration bucket. I've got my drivers. It's added my BACnet and my N2 networks on there. It's automatically added all of my devices that I put on there. When I click on a device, it automatically creates a graphic that corresponds to how I answered the application. I have a chiller with, a controller application file that's got 4 chillers on there, 2 cooling towers, the requisite number of pumps. It brought in a subset of all the points that are possibly in there for that particular application. It automatically added some extensions on points right here. So let's say it came as a default and it's trending my condenser water supply temperature. But let's say I wanted to trend my primary chilled water pump 1 command. In order to add trends onto this, all I have to do is check a box and do a change of value or an interval. I want this thing every time it changes value to put a trend on there. I've automatically added a trend. If I wanted an alarm on something like condenser water pump 1 command, I click on that one and it'll alarm for a change of state, command failure, or status anytime I do that. So I've automatically added those trends onto there. I can hit save. We've chosen a subset of these guys to pick, but if there's ones that you want to bring in every time, you can select that so that every time that particular point has a trend, alarm, or a totalization on that one. So it makes it very easy to add those extensions. It's also created one for a link to my alarms page, the graphics for my alarms page, and also to my history page, so I can have all those things right at my fingertips. I can also have a handheld graphic that was created. So when I look at something on a small device like an iPhone or an Android phone type device, you see this graphic. If you have a computer or an iPad view, it creates that one. It's done all my VAV boxes. It's done my air handling units and all my N2 network stuff as well. So I've added all those.
That is so sweet, Matt. That is really sweet.
And on top of it then, once you get done taking a look at that, I can take a look at my point groups right here. Here's my VAV flows. So anything that was SA-F, it puts it in a bucket in case you want to take a look at those devices. Any other points that you might want to bucketize into what we call groups, zone temperatures, puts those all in a bucket. So basically all I'd have to do if I had the right controller application files loaded into the controllers, and I did this and had it all set up, the only thing I'd have to do is go to my schedule manager, which we've engineered. You click on your schedule, do new link, and when you connect that one up, all you have to do is check the boxes for Oct schedule. That's the point in Johnson Controls ease. Anytime this thing is occupied, it's going to send that occupied command to those points. You hit link, and now all those points.
Okay, Matt, you froze up there for a second, my man. But this is too. There you go. Now you're back. Hang in there.
All right. So you still see my screen? Yeah. Okay. So I've got all those things. Another thing that we've added, basically when you buy a Johnson Controls Facility Explorer Supervisor, FX Supervisor like a FX30E or an FX60E or an FX70, that comes as a device that has the UI and Workbench installed on it already, plus it also includes a default station. So you can start engineering like this out of the box without even having Workbench on your machine. And we give that default screens, and here happens to be one of them. This is our default home screen, and as you notice, it's got
Okay, Matt, we lost you there for a second.
What if we're going a little too fast on the presentation? Yeah, I lost him too.
Okay.
There he's back. This is too good, Matt. You're rocking and rolling, big dog.
Right. So if I wanted to update my home screen with all of the devices that I've just added, you can go to the Tools bar, drop down Update Homepage Graphic. On my local host, I hit Yes. You could do this on any of the particular supervisor stations that you're connected to, but I'll just do my local host for my computer, go back, and now I've got links on my main screen to all those devices. So basically what I've done is I've added my devices, brought in my points, done my scheduling, put my points in groups, updated my home screen. I can just change out this picture of the home screen, and I'm basically ready to go for some installations where that's all that's required.
Well, it's very, very powerful presentation, Matt.
Yeah.
How does this look on the operator side? I mean, this is the pretty much the finished point of the configuration screen. Are we going to transition to some of the benefits on the operator side?
Sure. One of the benefits of the operator side, I guess, one of the main benefits, I guess, a feature that I really like is called the Point Summary Manager. You can see right here. Basically, what you can do with the Point Summary Manager is configure things. It's like reports almost. I click on Point Summary Manager, and I can do a new point summary. And what that is a spreadsheet view almost, and it's going to have in the columns, it's going to have the device, the station, the network, and whether or not that device is enabled. And then from that point, you can pick any one of our pre-done application point summaries, or you can choose one of your own by just adding points to it. And here's what I'll show you. I'll do a pre-done application just so you can see. So let's say we have VAV boxes on this guy. And I wanted to take something that would show this. It's going to show me what state my controller is in, what the set point is, what the supply air temperature is, the flow, and the flow set point. I add that onto those guys, hit OK, give it a name, and now every time I click on that guy, it'll go through all my devices, take a look at what I have. I filter it out by just the VAV boxes, hit OK. Now I have a spot where I can take a look at all my VAVs at once. I don't know how you would do it otherwise, other than creating this from scratch or toggling between 100 different views if that's how many VAV boxes that you have all at once. So you can take a look at all this. And these guys can be sorted low to high, high to low by hitting the buttons. I can move columns around from left to right and right to left. And the most important thing, I guess, here is that if there's a point that you can take and you can override one point, or by holding down the shift key or the control key or the shift key, right click, and I can do override all of those all at once.
Wow.
So now I have a global override for all those points. So you can see a situation where this column might be something like, you know, heating valve output or damper output, and you wanted to override everything to 100%. You could override to 100% for whatever period of time. And I think I'm connected up to just a demo box that I have here, if I'm still connected to it. And again, this is just a demo that I have of these guys, but you can see in, let's see here once, like this summary 3, and this guy is going to take a look at the VAV boxes. Now these are ones that are just in the lab. We kind of mess around with these every day to take a look at them. But when I filter out and just take a look strictly at the variable VAV boxes, I go through and it shows you everything about a box. What my set point is, what state it's in, the zone temperatures, supplier temperatures, discharge, damper position, if anything's, you know, offline, if it's overridden, if it's in alarm, it shows up in those colors that you have normal for all these things. Clicking on the particular name of it takes you directly to the graphic to go back to, and so you can do this, and you can make these linkable to the home screen as well. So if I, for instance, wanted to put this on my home page, some operator would come in the morning, check all of his VAV boxes all at once, he'd be able to do that. And I think the real power in it is that, you know, there might be certain things that, you know, you don't really get an alarm on because it's not out of whack, but something might be, out of control. For instance, if you got a bunch of rooftops, every single one of them is in cooling, but one of them is in heating. Well, being in heating really isn't an alarm, but at least you could view that all from one screen, especially if you have multiple units.
Matt, that's very, very, very impressive. Wow. Show us some more.
Okay. Well, let's see. It seems like I've done something here to send my my boxes into, or my workbench into a bad mode. It always happens with a demonstration, I guess. So I can't really navigate off this screen right at the moment.
Well, Eric, remember how you always got a kick out of the Daryl Smith about how the heating and cooling valves or the heating and cooling at the same time? It doesn't generate alarm, but you know it's a bad thing. And also, if a valve gets stuck open, would this pick that up, Matt? Does it?
If a valve gets stuck open?
No, just a neighboring, like you said, if we just one of the big things that Microsoft Google, the campus that we learned from the Realcomm folks was that they had these Leeds buildings and everything was running smooth and everybody was happy, everybody's comfortable, but despite being comfortable, they weren't efficient because they had anomalies going on where they didn't know that something was in a fault status. It sounds to me like we could create fault statuses here. If we have that information available, we can generate reports or notifications that we have 5 zones in cooling and 1 in heat. Somebody should take a look at that.
Exactly. That's exactly what that thing is meant for. And take a snapshot. You could have all of those, like say VAV boxes or rooftop units, something that you might have a lot of. You could see all those guys all in one snapshot and wonder why are all my rooftop units in cooling but one is in heating? Or perhaps maybe a diagnostic, something like if you had VAV boxes and they're all 8-inch boxes and you're taking a look at them and you go, well, this 8-inch box has a certain K factor, but all the other ones are really odd or really different, so you'd be able to take a look at that. Anything that you decide to put on this report, you could put on this report from any of the points that are available there. So it's really helpful in that sense.
So Matt, you could create rules, in other words, like you said, for the anomalies. So you could say, like for example, if the heating and cooling are on at the same time, send an email to somebody like that. Could you take it down to that level?
You could do that with rules. That's not part of the point summary manager, but you could do that definitely with rules. Yeah. Point summary manager is a visual indication of stuff that's going on inside of your station.
Very cool. Very
Mm-hmm.
cool.
I'm just getting back here once. Okay. And so let's say that I would take a look at my. Let me try to share my screen again here real quickly.
Matt, by the way, you're doing a great job with this. This is, you know, as you know, we are sort of at the mercy here of Google Hangouts, which are working pretty good, but there are some things that, as you guys are experiencing, our audience experience, where we have some glitches that are sort of beyond our controls. But Matt, really appreciate the way you're hanging in there on this, buddy. So I'm going to turn it back over to you. There you go. You're back up. So you're looking good.
You guys see my screen again? Okay.
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So what we do here with this is, you're wondering, well, what happens if I have a particular VAV box that I like to bring in, but boy, you know what, this graphic that I'm looking at here is not one that I actually want. Or maybe there's a certain number of points in here that are things that are like, well, I always bring in a certain point, you don't have it in your list here. So you can actually customize all this stuff as part of the Johnson Controls appliance. If you go up to the Tools menu and you go down to the System Library Editor, the System Library Editor is where you can go in and manipulate these things. So I can pick a particular device. Let's say I'm going to my into my selections, and let's say I want the PCT VAV single duct XML. I can open that guy up and take a look at my graphic info. This is every time that I go in and choose a VAV type application. This is the graphic that it's picking and using. This is the HX graphic that it's picking and using. So if you didn't like our graphic, you could automatically have it navigate to your graphic. Particular points that you might have out of all the particular points that are available in a VAV application. So if you answered every single question or had every single option, you'd have all these in white plus all these in gray, the ones that we chose not to import. If there was a point that you wanted to import every time, all you'd have to do is check the box here, and it'll import that guy every time you import a VAV application. Or if there's particular devices that you'd want, and say I want to, every time I bring this in, zone temperature, I want an alarm on zone temperature every time. You check that box, and now every time you'll have an alarm on that particular point. And then all you have to do is hit save, and that's the way it would operate. So you can manipulate, when I bring in a device, what exactly am I going to bring in, what points am I bringing in, what graphic am I using. So this can be utilized with some manipulation for anybody's controllers, not only the Johnson Controls controllers.
Wow, it's very intuitive, Matt. You guys really, congratulations, Chris and Matt, on this. This a lot of thought into the design of this. So way cool. Keep going. I'm digging this, man. I'm digging it.
All right. One other thing too that might be of interest is that all of the graphics files that we have, so all the templates. So whether or not you go through and you put in a VAV box, an air handling unit, a rooftop unit, a heat pump, a fan coil, a simple plant, a simple central plant, which is an application which is one chiller and one boiler in one controller, or optimized central plants. We all have options for this, and we've created graphic templates for every single one of these things. So as you can see in our graphics folder, system graphics file folder, either in PCT to support all of our new PC controllers, or if you have legacy controllers like the FX07, FX15, FX16, or you have the N2 controllers like UNTs and AHUs. We have graphics for all of those. And in each one of those guys, the graphics here are have every option that you could possibly select, but the only things that show up are the points that are actually part of your application. So a simple example of that would be if I've got an air handling unit that has on-off valves versus floating valves versus proportional valves, it'll pick the right look of the valve and pick the right operation. If I have 4 stages of heat on a rooftop unit, it'll show 4 stages of heat. So depending upon how you've done the question and answer, it'll populate that image, put that value on the screen, and then show that. So we've got the templates for everything from AHUs to boilers to central cooling, central plants, so on and so forth, all the way to the VAV boxes to be able to do that. So you can take these guys, and if there's something you don't like on one of our graphics and you want to modify the template, you could go to that particular template, PCT, VAV, go to the graphics editor, and then all the
So Matt, I think what happened is when your computer is pulling one of those graphics up and loading something, it sort of kicks you off for a minute. So
Okay.
there you go. Now you're back. All right.
Yep. So in here, all the graphics are populated with every single image that you could possibly have. So if you have a different controller that doesn't have a point that's known as heating-C, then you can change the name of your controller's point to heating-C, or change this to whatever the name of your point is, and it'll automatically populate that in a graphical image, or automatically put the value on the screen. So each one of these particular templates are editable and included with all of your FX Workbench. So it not only comes with the standard graphics files for the large graphics, but it also has the handheld graphics for these guys. So you're all done with all of your handheld graphics as well. And it keeps all those guys in there. So you can do this, you can do that with anything. So it's a nice feature to have. You can customize this as much as you want. We kind of give you the building blocks, and then you can run from there with that.
Wow, way cool. Now, and I'm assuming this would be able to push these points up to something like Panoptics or something like that too, if you wanted to, fairly easily.
Our connection to Panoptics isn't quite complete yet. We've got that on the roadmap to be able to do that automatically. We're working on it currently, but right now it's not ready yet. But that's the intent. The intent is to have a wizard that you'd add on to this network, much like a driver's network, the Panoptics network, and you'd right-click and be able to send this thing up, make the connection to Panoptics, and automatically send the appropriate points, whether they're meter points or whatever the case might be, are required by Panoptics. And they'll send it up to that server.
Great. Well, it's quite a presentation, Matt. You make it all look so easy and fast, but I can see that this is taking a tremendous effort on Johnson's part, and it's very well thought out and very intuitive. Great
Sure.
stuff.
And once you have a station that's already in place, let's say, and I've come across this network, and boy, we have to add something onto this network, right? I can go to my BACnet network, go to my BACnet device manager, add a new device, give it the name, network, so on and so forth. I can then go up to my JCI BACnet import manager, and basically this is an individual way of doing what the spreadsheet does. And I'll edit that. I'll go to my resource file, the place where I've got my CAF file, whatever it may be. I'll go navigate to that location where I have my CAF file, so you can see what I'm talking about. Just a second. And let's say that I've got, I want to add a, I don't know, let's see here once. Another chiller plant, let's say. I'll take that guy on there, I'll add him. And so what the spreadsheet is doing, and what that the batch import does is, here's that CAF file, here's the system library file that it points to, here's the graphics choice that I make. We support our newer graphics, those are the ones with the latest images that came from Tritium, or our legacy graphic images, do those as well. And then it creates the standard graphic file, and I choose here for a new graphic, and I choose here for a handheld graphic. I hit OK, and just like everything else, it'll add that device onto my network, create the graphic, add the points, add the extensions, and so forth. So you don't have to go back to the spreadsheet just to add a new device. You can just go to your network and automatically add a device right from there.
Way cool, Matt. Way cool. Hey, I want to get back to a question for both you guys. A lot of our customers use third-party graphics devices, DG Logic, for example, J2 Fin Innovation, SkySpark. Pretty easy to push these points up to third-party graphics packages?
Oh, are these points easy? Sure. They're all Niagara points, so they're the same points that get pushed up to any graphics package. So they're all, once they're into the Facility Explorer supervisors, they're normalized points for Niagara, so no problem there.
Way cool. Way cool.
One of the, I guess the neat things about what Matt has just showed you is that this is all kind of built within Niagara. It's just kind of giving it a different look and feel to the system integrator who's responsible for configuring the station. So we thought instead of forcing new or inexperienced system integrators to get up to speed on Niagara's workbench environment, to give them more familiar tools to get started with creating stations. So that's why we chose Excel as a way to mass populate the components of a station. And then behind the scenes, we're doing a lot of the stuff automatically. But at the end of the day, what we're really creating are all standard Niagara components. Standard Niagara points, standard Niagara PX views, standard Niagara schedule components, and things of that nature. So once the configuration activity is complete, it's not something that's proprietary to Johnson. It's something that's any Niagara system integrator would be able to be familiar with.
Very, very cool, Chris. Very cool. So you guys really have sort of taken the best of all worlds because, you know, Johnson, your networks are rock solid, your products are rock solid, and then allowing people to have the flexibility to like I say, add third-party devices and take advantage of a truly open network. So, again, applause to you guys. Chris, let's take just a minute. Matt, real quick, anything else you have to add? Because this is so good. We could go on forever with this. Anything else you got you want to show with the graphic right now?
Well, the one thing that I think a lot of people could utilize more of is you know, we always have a problem with Java, right? Every time you get a new installation, people using their you know, web browser connection have problems. Well, if you'd go through our appliance and you get to the opportunity to add a new user, you can go ahead and add a new user.
Okay, Matt, I think you just locked up for a quick sec.
That if you pick two things, the JCI handheld HX profile here and the JCI handheld HX profile here, and hit save, now when they log on as this user, they bypass that Java requirement, and if they're using something like a computer or an iPad, they'll see views just like this. So it kind of gets them around the Java requirement, you know, with their browser connection. So I just thought I'd mention that because there's a lot of issues sometimes with Java. And I know we're moving to HTML5 with Niagara 4, but in case there's an existing you know, installations, set up a user, use JCI handheld HX profiles for both of them, and log on, and you'll be able to see the screens just like this, and you won't have to worry about Java.
Way cool. Yeah, one of my tech guys said there was another Java problem today that they just ran across. So that's a super feature right there. So guys, real quick, let's shift gears just for a second because we got this great product. Chris, do you want to talk just a little bit about if somebody is not using, I mean, people that are using these products know about it, the integrators are using it, they're probably liking to keep this a secret because I think it really gives them a competitive advantage, not just with the great products you guys have, but the fact that the installations are so streamlined and easy. But you want to speak for a minute if we have listeners out there that maybe haven't had the Johnson product line or given it a try yet. What's their best route to sort of get in touch and have a local Johnson distributor come talk to them?
Yeah, actually, to the first point, the reason why we have this software is we went out and did a lot of voice-to-customer research. We talked to our customers, and both existing and new customers, and asked them. We showed them our Facility Explorer product line and asked them how could we make it better. And I would say well over the majority said that we don't need new features. The features of your building automation system are complete. You have a laundry list of energy management capabilities, of automation capabilities. Your graphics are nice. The problem that we have is that we only do maybe 1 or 2 jobs a year, and we would really need some help making it easy to quickly configure a station so that we can get on and off the job with less risk, lowest costs, and have a quality installation. So that's what we focused our design engineers on, creating this appliance that really allows our customers, our FX Authorized Building Control Specialists, or ABCSs, to really exploit the fact that everything is kind of designed to work together to make it easy for it to be configured, engineered, programmed, and installed, and that at the end of the day it's a quality installation. So we're really trying to advantage customers that have chosen the Johnson Controls Facility Explorer product line to be successful on their project deliveries. So we go through market through open distribution as well as a few direct contracting customers. But so if you're interested in the FX product line, approach one of our many distributors. I think the majority of the big national distributors carry the FX line, and they're a source for our products.
Cool, Chris. And if you have any questions on who your local distributor is, like you say, you can reach out to Johnson Controls, or just email me and Kenny at controltrends@gmail.com. We can hook you up. We know who all the distributors across the country are. We can hook you up and get you taken care of with that. Kenny, what questions do you have for Matt or Chris?
Well, I didn't really have a question. I mean, it's very good stuff, guys. What I liked about it was it was more than adequate justification. It's compelling justification of why people that are in the Niagara world would invest in the FX version, the FX Workbench, because of all these additional benefits you get and how it simplifies, especially for an organization that's up and coming and is developing, the systems integrators. They're so hard to get and so few between. So it's a great. I think Johnson has one of the strongest developmental, product platforms and programs to take somebody with the asset control or the asset program, and then this is just more justification of why Johnson has such a good product line and why they're developing. They put the money in, the engineering, the investment in. Now they're just waiting for the economy to turn around, and they're going to take advantage of it, right, Chris?
Yeah, definitely. And to your point, our FX Asset tool, which we hopefully will be able to demonstrate on a future Tech Talk. That kind of, is the tool that addresses all of the workflow that takes place before you get to the engineering. So all of the sales and submittals and the estimation portion of a project is really handled tightly with our FX Asset tool, and then the output of that tool can be used to feed some of the appliances that you just saw Matt demonstrate today. So it's a nice end-to-end efficient solution.
Is. In fact, it's incredible. I don't think there's anybody else out there that has one of those either. Not that I know of. Are you aware of any other OEM, Eric, that has anything close to that? The tool and then the
No, I'm not. I think they really, I think individual companies have really cool components and aspects that are really, really great. But I think Johnson's done a really good job of just a comprehensive, system, if you will, all the components, and we will, we got some people texting in and on the chat line. We will do some other sessions with Chris. We'll break down the individual controllers, and we will go through the asset control in detail. Matt, we're getting some thumbs up for you, buddy. People are liking what you have to say, so congratulations. You passed the Johnson Controls Tech Talk test, so well done.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, and I just kind of want to say too is that one thing to keep in mind is that all that stuff, that workbench, the appliance, everything comes in the FX Supervisor right out of the box. So it's a nice feature. You can engineer all that stuff without even having workbench on your machine. And if you have asset, you can go right from the estimating portion of it to getting your submittals, and it actually creates the CAF file too. So you don't really have to open up workbench very much to create a station and create your graphics and link everything up. So it makes it really easy to get on and off a job fast.
I completely agree with that. Kenny and I had the opportunity last year to attend your business conference, which I know you guys are going to be doing another one soon. It was such a huge success. But speaking of what Kenny said about the products, and the development, to go to that product show and see all the different innovative products you guys are coming up with, everything from the damper type applications to the wireless to the VAV controller that you guys have to the VFD controllers. You guys are truly it's super. So one thing I'd like to just say, and we'll talk a lot about this, if you ever get a chance to attend a Johnson Controls business conference, it's so worthwhile just to see the products, get to talk to people like Chris and Matt, and then also you guys just had great speakers at that last one. So good stuff there, fellas. I think we're up against it time-wise. Matt, any final comments from you?
Yeah, I think the customer business conference is the end of March, scheduled that time frame in Orlando, and so we're looking forward to it and really appreciate the time you give us here for Control Tech Talk, and just really appreciate being on and having you guys as partners and getting the word out about controls and making the industry seem really cool. It's
Well,
great.
thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. And I concur with Chris Lane. I think, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't show up on the nomination ballot this year for some of the stuff. And I will tell people, I want to find out if this is true or not, that Orlando, I suspect there'll be some golf involved. And my question is, do you play to your handicap, or are you out to make the money?
No, I play to my handicap. I don't, no fudging it. I hate that. Every time you play against somebody and they're like, oh, they just fired a 37, and they're like, I haven't done that ever. I never do that, and then they're taking all your money. So I know when to say yes to those guys and when to say no.
Well, Orlando is going to be great. It looked like we might have lost Chris Lane, so we will thank him too. Chris is one of the great guys in our industry, super good guy. I think one of the things I like about you guys, Matt, is that you guys got really smart people, but you got super nice people. I mean, what's the tall guy name? The Norwegian guy, Lars or
Neil Stauersball?
Oh man, what a cool guy he is. So you got brilliant guys, and it's unusual that you can have such great engineers with such great personalities. So normally you get one or the other, but to get both at the same time, and then to get as many of them as you guys have. So thank Chris for being on, and we will be coming back. Oh, there he is. Hey, Chris.
My computer died, so sorry about that.
No problem at all. Well, we're saying nice things about you, dude. So, but hey, I'm all for. I think when Johnson puts together the list of nominees for the Control Trends Awards, I think you got to have Matt on there, man. He great stuff and great products. Chris, any final comments before we hop off?
No, I think it's been a great tech talk, and I appreciate Matt taking some time here and showing our software. One of the things I did want to point out, though, as great as Matt is, you can just see the power of that software and how quickly you can engineer a station and how many components were automatically created in just a few short minutes. 5 minutes, you have a station fully created, including graphics. So we're really proud of our software, and we're really happy to have a chance to showcase that on your Tech Talk here. So thanks again, Eric and Ken, for allowing us this opportunity.
Thank you.
Well, very welcome with that, and I can tell you these guys have great sales reps. So whatever part of the country you're in, and I suspect whatever part of the world you're in, if you want a live demo, I mean, it's as simple as asking, because these guys have really good people in the field too. So be sure to ask for that. Check it out. We're going to have these guys back again next month with another Johnson Controls Tech Talk. Ken Smyers, the man, the myth, the legend. Any final comments before we hop off?
No, great job, guys. Again, I'm just hats off to Johnson Controls for putting together that end-to-end solution. We always talk about how the systems integrators, a lot of our professionals are in that 50 to 60-year-old age group, and we need to recruit and start developing the next generation of systems integrators. And I think Johnson is going to have a very big role in that. And the products and the software products they're putting out are going to be making that more doable. Not necessarily easier, but certainly more demonstrable, that you can show somebody how you get from point A to point B, and they've got everything there. Everything you need is within the end-to-end solution. Great job.
Yeah, completely agree, guys. Okay, well, that's it. This is Ken Smyers, Eric Stromquist and Ken Smyers, the man, the myth, the legend. You've been listening to Johnson Control Tech Talk. We're going to keep doing these things once a month, so check your emails. Check us out on Google+. Follow these guys in the LinkedIn group, Matt Krieger and Chris Lane. Guys, thanks a lot. And as Kenny would say, stay in control.
Indeed, Eric.
Indeed, Kenny Smyers. Take care, guys. Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.